No threats, no fleets in deep space. Other alien races looked at humans and smiled. They called Earth the peaceful blue dot. Some even joked that humans had gone soft, but Earth had already warned them once. A message spoken softly at the Galactic Council. Don't mistake our silence for weakness. But the galaxy forgot those words. The Galactic Council was made of many great races, the tall Sarnuk, the wise Valari, the proud Zarkans. They all had fleets, colonies, weapons of power. Earth had only trade ships and diplomats. It was easy to laugh, easy to ignore. Humans offered knowledge, technology, and peace, but never showed their true strength, and that was by design deep beneath the surface of Mars. Inside black tunnels no alien had ever seen, something old and powerful was sleeping. Massive engines cold and silent, weapons sealed behind metal doors. AI minds shut down but not dead. Earth hadn't forgotten war. Earth had simply prepared for it better than anyone else. While aliens built fleets and fought over resources, Earth built in secret, on moons, inside asteroids, under Mars's surface. Every piece was hidden, silent, and waiting. And while the galaxy laughed, Earth trained. Pilots who could fly blind, soldiers who needed no sleep, scientists who could weaponize silence itself, all hidden behind the smile of peace. Humans had one advantage others never understood: time. While aliens rushed into power and pride, humans were patient, slow, careful. They studied their enemies. Without fighting them, they watched every council meeting. They mapped every alien fleet, and then they did nothing, at least on the surface. The Galactic Council thought Earth was peaceful by choice, but they didn't know the truth. Earth had made a promise to itself: we will not strike first, but we will strike last. It was not weakness. It was the calm before the roar, the silence before the storm. And now, that silence was cracking. A red light blinked deep inside Earth's military command. A signal, short, cold, final. One of Earth's colonies near the Zarkan border was gone. No warning, no survivors, no trace. Just dust, radiation, and wreckage. The Zarkans claimed it was a mining accident. A mistake, a small thing. But Earth knew better. The blast pattern told a different story. It was a weapon, one the Zarkans promised never to use again. The Council tried to calm the storm. They asked Earth to forgive and move forward. They said war was not worth it, but Earth didn't reply. The message had already been received, not in words, but in silence, in Mars's deep bunkers. Machines began to hum. Reactors powered up for the first time in 80 years. Command codes were unlocked. Old names appeared on black screens: Titanfall, Atlas Prime, Obsidian Rain, and one by one, the sleeping giants opened their eyes. In a control room, buried under Olympus Mons, General Kale stood alone. He looked at the glowing screen. The orders were already there. He didn't speak, didn't blink. He just pressed his hand against the scanner and whispered, "We warned them." Earth's silence was now over. The peace before the roar had ended. Across the solar system, old signals returned. Satellites woke from cold sleep. Black ships rose from hidden hangars, and far out, near Jupiter, a massive gate pulsed with life. It had been closed for decades. Now it was wide open, ready to send the first wave. But this was not a war of anger. It was not revenge. It was a reminder that Earth had never been weak, just patient. Now, the galaxy would hear the roar, and they would remember the words they once ignored. We were holding back, not no longer. Asterisk. The stars were calm that night when Earth lost one of its own. A quiet science station near the edge of Zarkan space, full of peaceful researchers, studying space dust and gravity fields. They had no weapons, no defense systems, not even a warning beacon. And then, without sound or warning, it disappeared. Gone in a bright white flash, every soul on board erased. The Zarkans said it was an accident. Their newest test weapon had misfired, they claimed. They bowed at the council meeting and said, "We are sorry." But the truth was carved in the burn marks left behind. That was no accident. That was a Message, and Earth received it loud and clear. The Galactic Council tried to calm the fire. They told Earth to remain peaceful. They whispered words like balance, diplomacy, and harmony. But Earth didn't speak. Earth didn't argue. Earth remembered the treaty they signed 50 years ago, the one the Zarkans just shattered back then. Earth had agreed to silence its war programs in return. The Council promised protection and peace, but Earth never trusted them fully. Humans had seen what happened when empires grew too confident. So they smiled, they obeyed, and they waited. While the Council looked up, Earth looked deeper underground and inward. Now that patience was gone, the treaty was broken, and with it the chains Earth had chosen to wear. Inside the deep chambers of Luna Base, military leaders sat around a round table. No one spoke for 5 minutes. They just stared at the image on screen. A spinning chunk of metal. That's all that remained of the colony. The silence broke when Commander Reel stood up. Activate. Protocol Reclaimer, he said, and everyone at the table nodded. Once, that name Reclaimer was only spoken in legends. It was Earth's secret war plan, designed not for attack, but for retaliation. If Earth was ever betrayed, if a treaty was ever broken, Reclaimer would be the answer. Now it was no longer a secret. It was in motion. The Council didn't know yet, but Earth had cut all communication lines with them. They tried to send ships to speak with human diplomats, but none were allowed to land. Earth had shut its skies and its heart, and the silence spoke louder than words. One Zarkan ambassador shouted in frustration, "Why won't they talk to us?" A human security officer answered simply, "Because you already spoke with fire." Across Mars and Luna, the old systems reawakened. War machines came online. Battle armor was pulled from vaults. AI-aided drones floated information. Old officers were recalled to active duty. And some of Earth's best mind scientists, engineers, and war tacticians entered locked bunkers for final checks. Everything was ready. Everything had been ready for decades. Meanwhile, the Zarkans celebrated. They thought Earth would stay quiet. They believed humans were afraid. After all, Earth had never attacked anyone before. To them, humans were just loud talkers with soft hands. But they didn't know the truth. Earth didn't attack first. It attacked last and hardest. Earth's command center, a final order was typed. It was simple, cold, and clear. Release Vanguard Unit 1. From a hidden hangar beneath the Arctic ice, a large warship began to rise. It had no name painted on its hull, only a mark, the mark of Earth's first fleet, an eagle surrounded by silence. The ship was old, but its weapons were new. Built in secret, designed for one thing: balance through fear. Across the galaxy, small signs began to appear. Human drones scanned alien borders. Supply ships moved without official notice. Old Earth colonies sent encrypted messages. Everything was moving. But no one truly understood until the first ship vanished. It was a Zarkan scout vessel, dispatched to watch Earth's movements. It sent one message before disappearing: "We see something massive." Then silence, no wreckage, no signal, just gone. The Zarkans sent 5 more ships. 2 returned, badly damaged. The rest never came back. Panic spread like fire through the Galactic Council and Earth. Earth just watched, waiting for the next move. The humans weren't seeking peace anymore. They weren't asking for justice. They were executing a plan they had waited decades to use. The Zarkans had poked the lion. Now they would learn what Earth truly was: not weak, not soft, but patient and dangerous and far away. Beyond Neptune's orbit, more warships were waking. Old names, old crews, old missions. Reclaimer was just the beginning, and Earth had only just begun to speak. Not ships, but shadows, giant shadows, hidden inside the hollowed cores of dead asteroids. Old warships slept in silence, wrapped in metal cocoons. They had no lights, no noise, not even energy. But now, one by one, their eyes were opening. Titanfall was the first. A dreadnought lost to history. Most believed it was destroyed in Earth's last war. but it had only disappeared hidden by Earth itself. Its armor was thicker than any known metal. Its weapons could melt moons. Inside, cold AI minds stirred back to life. The voice of Earth echoed across the black halls of Titanfall. Reclaimer protocol activated. The ship replied. Confirmed. Engines hummed. Core systems blinked. Green. Titanfall was awake again, and it was not alone. Nearby, another shape moved. Obsidian rain. Smaller but faster. A strike cruiser built to vanish and kill without warning. Its hull changed color to match space. It didn't roar like Titanfall. It whispered through stealth, through fear. Its first words after 78 years were, "Target Q ready." Then came Atlas Prime, the oldest of Earth's titans, built in silence. Powered by a core older than many suns. This ship was never meant to fight small wars. It was made to stop invasions, end empires, crush arrogance. Its AI, named Argo, spoke slowly. Mission accepted. Earth rises. For decades, these ships were myths. Even to most humans, but they were real, and they were many. Earth hadn't built fleets like other species. No colorful armadas, no ceremonial ships. Earth built ghosts, weapons wrapped in legends, because fear was more powerful than numbers. Each Titan connected to Earth Command. Updates were shared. Enemy movements tracked. Zarkan ships had started pulling back from Earth space. They sensed something was coming, but they didn't know how big, how fast, or how final it would be. They thought Earth would respond with a few missiles or protests. They had no idea Earth was waking monsters on the surface of Mars in a command tower with no windows. Admiral Riva stood before a massive screen. One by one, Titan signatures blinked online. Her face remained calm, but her heart raced. "We are no longer holding back," she said. Then she turned to the officers behind her. "Let them see what they've awakened." Across Earth's secret channels, a command spread. "Prepare the path." It meant the Titans were not staying near Earth. They were moving out, toward Zarkan space, toward Council territories, toward those who had mocked Earth and now feared its silence. The Titans did not travel alone. They were followed by smaller ships, fighters, stealth drones, supply crafts. Each one built for purpose, not for show. And on board were crews trained in secret, soldiers who had lived underground their whole lives, pilots who trained in zero light. They didn't wear medals. They wore black armor with one symbol, an eagle standing alone. The galaxy still didn't understand what was coming. News of the missing scout ships had spread, rumors of giant Earth vessels were passed like ghost stories. Some called them death arcs, others said star golems. But no one had seen them clearly yet, because the Titans moved with precision. They didn't rush, they calculated, they stalked inside. The Galactic Council, the mood had changed. The same voices that laughed at Earth were now silent. Meetings were shorter, and the word human caused unease. Zarkan leaders begged the Council for help, but no one wanted to fight Earth. Not anymore. On a distant moon, a Zarkan admiral watched his radar. A single massive object appeared. Then 3, then 5. No sound, no transmissions, just shadows growing in the dark. He whispered to himself. They weren't bluffing, and he was right. Earth was no longer warning the galaxy. Now, it was showing what it had prepared. Back on Titanfall, the captain stood in the command deck. He looked out into the stars and spoke to his crew. For years, we were told to be quiet, to hide what we are. But now we are free. Let's remind the stars who we are. Engines flared. Weapons powered. Systems locked into place. The Titans were not weapons of war. They were symbols of patience, of warning, of silent power. And now that silence had been broken, not with words, but with movement, with action. The Titans were awake, and the galaxy would never sleep the same again. Asterisk. The stars were peaceful above. The Zarkan border, ships drifted slowly, shields relaxed. Weapons powered down. To the Zarkans, Earth was still far away, and they believed humans would never truly fight. But that belief shattered in one silent moment, at 0200 galactic time. A shadow appeared on their sensors, no warning, no signal, just darkness approaching. It didn't match any known ship in their records. The II on board called it an anomaly. Then the anomaly fired. The explosion was silent in space, but its effects screamed across every sensor. One Zarkan cruiser disappeared, instantly cut clean in half. A second ship caught fire before its systems shut down. The third spun out of control, trying to run, but it was already too late. Within 6 minutes, 3 military ships were gone, and they never even saw what hit them. The shadow moved again, and this time it spoke one message, sent in old human language. "This is Titanfall," responding to a broken treaty, and then the line went dead. Zarkan command was thrown into chaos. Alarms blared, generals shouted. No one had seen an Earthship in full action before. No one believed the stories were true. Now they were watching them unfold in real time. Zarkan Admiral Vroth stood shaking. As the reports came in, he watched his fleet fall apart in under 10 minutes. And still, they couldn't even lock onto Titanfall. Its systems moved like it was dancing through their radar. Invisible, unstoppable, inhuman. More ships were sent from nearby stations, 6 destroyers, backed by 2 capital ships. Together, they formed a wall of defense, and for a moment, they believed they could stop the monster. But the monster didn't come alone. Behind Titanfall, 2 more ships arrived, Obsidian Rain and Atlas Prime. They didn't need introductions. Their size alone brought fear, and when they attacked, it was unlike anything the Zarkans had ever faced. Obsidian Rain released a cloud of stealth drones, small, fast, and deadly. The drones slipped into enemy ships through vents and gaps. They didn't explode, they hacked. They turned friendly ships against each other. Suddenly, Zarkan cannons fired on their own. Their shields dropped from within. It was chaos. Then Atlas Prime entered the battle. It didn't fire fast. It didn't move fast. It simply arrived. And that was enough. Its main weapon, a sunlance beam, cut through space like a blade. One Zarkan capital ship melted before it could even return fire. The rest turned and fled. And that was when Earth sent its second message. This is not an attack. This is the correction of balance. The message spread across Zarkan space, and even reached the outer edges of Council worlds. Leaders sat in silence, some angry, some terrified. But none of them could deny the truth anymore. Earth wasn't weak, it was just finished being. Quiet, back on Titanfall, the captain watched the wreckage drift past. No joy, no celebration, just duty. "We gave them time," he said to his crew. "We warned them." And they didn't listen. The crew nodded silently. They were not fighting for revenge. They were proving a point Earth had held back for too long. In the days that followed, more Earthships appeared, not in large numbers, but in perfect precision. Each one had a mission. Each one hit its mark. Fuel depots vanished. Military outposts were dismantled. Without a single human loss, Earth had crippled an empire. And they still hadn't declared war, because this wasn't war. This was a warning made real. The Zarkans tried to send peace offers, but Earth didn't answer. Diplomats were ignored. The only reply was the appearance of another black ship in orbit. Its presence said everything. Not no longer. At the Council headquarters, panic spread. Alien leaders who once rolled their eyes at humans now argued. Should they confront Earth or surrender before they were next? But no one could decide, because Earth's plan wasn't written in treaties. It was written in silence, patience, and fire. Zarkan military command collapsed within 3 days. And still, Earth did not set foot on their worlds. They didn't claim planets, didn't raise flags. They simply destroyed the machines of war and left silence behind. One young Zarkan officer looked up at the burning sky and whispered, "We thought they were small." Another replied, "No, we just forgot how big quiet things can become." And far above them, in the black sea of space, Titanfall turned away. Its job was done, but this was just the beginning. Its roof reached high into the stars, with windows showing the galaxy beyond. It was meant to feel peaceful, powerful, unshakable. But now, every seat inside trembled, and every voice was raised in fear. The council hadn't met in full attendance for decades. But now, every species had sent their top leaders, Zarkans, Valari, Threx, Vendari, even the cold-blooded Kyrenax lords. They sat around the circle, faces pale, antennae twitching, scales sweating. In the center, a large hologram spun slowly, Earth's titanfall, still glowing with heat from its last strike. "We told them to remain peaceful," one alien snapped. "They were supposed to follow council order. They were part of us," another whispered. "No," an older alien said quietly. "They were never one of us. We just thought they were." Footage played again on the giant screen. Zarkan ships exploding in perfect silence. Stealth drones entering vessels without being seen. One by one, entire fleets vanished, and Earth had only used 3 ships, just 3. The Council's top military advisors confirmed the worst. "If they have more like this, we have no defense." Someone suggested sending an envoy to Earth. Others laughed nervously. "An envoy? To what?" "They don't want to talk. They want to finish what they started." But even that wasn't true. Earth had not taken land, had not declared war. They only destroyed the weapons that had been turned against them. Nothing more, and that scared the Council more than anything else. "This is power without greed," the Valari High Priest said. "They don't want to rule. They just want to show they can. And that," said a Kyrenax general, "makes them more dangerous than any empire we've seen." Panic spread like wildfire. Some species began recalling their ships. Others tried to form secret alliances in the shadows. And many simply started running, moving their fleets, closing their borders, hiding their colonies. But Earth saw everything. Their satellites had been in Council space for years. Hidden, forgotten, silent. Now, they were awake and watching. One brave council member stood and raised her voice. "Let's not forget, we broke the treaty first." Earth gave warnings, time, silence. And when we ignored all of it, they responded, "What did we expect?" The chamber fell into silence. No one had an answer. Because she was right. Back on Earth, leaders watched the chaos unfold from secure rooms. Screens showed every council broadcast, every ship movement, every secret meeting. But Earth didn't interfere. They just observed, calm and quiet, waiting for the council to realize the truth, that Earth was not seeking destruction, only correction. In a secret chamber beneath Mount Erebus, Earth's high command met in silence. Admiral Riva stood beside the hologram of the council room. She watched aliens scream and argue like children, and then she turned to her team. "They are breaking themselves. All we had to do was show them a mirror." Not far from her, Commander Rail adjusted the long-range fleet data. He saw council ships forming defensive rings around their capitals. But Earth's ships weren't moving closer. They stayed just at the edge of sensor range, silent, unblinking, uncheckable, like the calm before a second storm. But Earth had already made its move. The real question now was, what would the Council do next? Some aliens suggested war, others wanted surrender. Some even begged for Earth's protection. But Earth answered none of them. Their silence was louder than words. Their stillness was heavier than gravity. One panicked alien from the Threx Alliance slammed the table. "We must unite and strike now, before they strike again." A Vendari general replied, "We did that once before." And they destroyed a fleet with 3 ships. The Threx commander fell silent, because deep down, they all knew the same thing. They had never truly understood Earth, and now it was too late. In the middle of this chaos, a signal arrived from deep space. A probe had gone missing near Saturn's outer ring. Another ship had vanished near the Kuiper belt. But no one on Earth had claimed responsibility. The Council feared what this meant. Maybe Earth had more fleets, hidden even farther. Maybe Titanfall, Obsidian Rain, and Atlas Prime were just the start. Someone in the Council whispered the unthinkable. What if Earth's silence is not a warning anymore? What if it's a countdown? At that moment, in every Council member's mind, one memory returned. A sentence spoken by Earth's ambassador many years ago. A sentence most had forgotten until now. We are not showing you who we are, because you are not ready to know now. The galaxy knew, and it was terrified. Asterisk. The galaxy had seen Earth's warships. Titanfall, Obsidian Rain, Atlas Prime. They were fear made real. But what the galaxy hadn't seen yet were the people behind those machines, the soldiers of Earth, and when they finally appeared, many wished they hadn't. The Zarkans believed the worst was over. They had lost ships, yes, and stations, yes. But they thought Earth's revenge was finished. They didn't know Earth was just beginning. One moon outpost, still loyal to the Council, held a small military base. It was guarded by 100 trained Zarkan warriors, armed, armored, and ready for any threat. But they were not ready for Ghostwing 7. No alarms were triggered. No ships landed in sight, just silence. Then the lights flickered and every screen turned black. By the time the guards reached their weapons, half their systems had shut down. And when they looked up, they saw them, 7 figures in black armor, no sound, no words. Just movement fast and perfect. The guards opened fire, but their shots missed or bounced off, one by one. The attackers moved like shadows through the halls. No wasted motion, no emotion. Within 6 minutes, the entire base was under Earth control, and not a single human was lost. The Zarkans captured were not tortured or harmed. They were tied, scanned, and left unharmed with a simple message on the wall. This is how Earth fights, back on Earth. Those soldiers weren't called heroes. They were simply doing their job. They had trained for years underground, in low oxygen, zero light, and total silence. They didn't speak unless ordered. They didn't celebrate victory. They moved to the next target without rest, across several Council-controlled zones. This happened again and again. No missiles, no fleets, just small teams, ghost wings, iron teeth, shadow arms. Earth's ground units had many names, but all shared one trait: unbeatable precision. Alien leaders couldn't understand it. They had trained soldiers too, armies even. But Earth didn't use armies, they used specialists. Each unit was trained for one purpose, one moment, and when they moved, it felt like time itself slowed for everyone else. In one operation, a Council fuel station was seized by only 2 humans. Just 2. They walked inside dressed as maintenance workers. 20 minutes later, the entire station's core was disarmed, and every guard had been locked in their own bunkers without injury. Security footage showed no violence, just smooth movement and perfect control. The final image, sent by the station, showed a message written on the wall with fuel ink. Do not mistake patience for peace. Back in the Council chamber, alien leaders stared at maps covered in red marks. Outposts gone, storage depots raided, secret labs dismantled, all without large battles. Earth wasn't fighting like an empire. It was surgically removing threats. Like a doctor cutting infection from a wound. The Volari counselor finally said what others feared. This is not war. This is discipline. One Threx general tried to argue. They must have weaknesses, all species do. But his screen suddenly went black. A new file appeared, unmarked, untraced. It showed Earth soldiers training, running upside down on walls, shooting while blindfolded, calculating math mid-combat. Then it cut to a message. We are what you made us wait for. Panic spread deeper. Some Council members resigned, others fled. Rumors of human spies in high places grew. One alien commander even destroyed his own terminal. Thinking it was hacked, he screamed, "They're inside our systems. They've always been inside." He was right. Earth had planted sleeper AI bots years ago. Invisible code buried in Council programs, now activated, feeding live data back to Earth's command centers. Every move, every plan already known. And yet, Earth still hadn't attacked a single civilian world. No cities destroyed, no civilians harmed. Their soldiers were not conquerors, they were messengers. Their message was simple. We warned you. You didn't listen, now you see. In a quiet moment, on the bridge of Obsidian Rain, a young human soldier looked out at the stars, his voice calm, his armor still dusty. Why do they look so surprised?" he asked. His captain smiled. "Because they thought we were just peacekeepers. But we were always warriors, and far away, in one of the Council's last untouched strongholds." A young alien child asked her father, "Will the humans hurt us?" The father held her close and said, "No, not if we stop trying to hurt them." Because the galaxy was learning. Earth's silence was not weakness. Earth's patience was not surrender. And Earth's soldiers were not there to take planets. They were there to remind the galaxy of something it had forgotten: respect. Silence the galaxy once knew. This was the silence after the storm, and Earth had become the eye of that storm, across thousands of systems. Earth's ships no longer moved, they simply floated. At the edges of enemy space, watching, listening, waiting. Not a single missile fired, not a single colony taken, and still, no one dared to breathe too loud. The Council was broken. Some members had surrendered quietly, others had vanished into deep space. Hiding from shadows, a few still tried to make noise, demanding war. But their voices were weak. No one followed them anymore, not when Earth had proven what silence could do. Then came the moment the galaxy didn't expect. Not another attack, not a new fleet, but a message. Across every screen, across every ship. From the smallest moon to the highest orbit, the signal came through, untraceable, unstoppable, undeniable. The image showed no human face, only stars, slowly turning. And then a voice, clear, deep, human, and calm. To all who hear this, this is Earth. For 100 years we held back. We joined your council. We offered peace. We shared knowledge. We obeyed your rules. Even when they were built to control us. We asked for fairness, and you gave us silence. We asked for peace, and you gave us betrayal. We warned you, and you laughed. This, what you have seen, is not Earth at war. This is Earth remembering. The stars behind the voice changed, now showing Earth's ships across the galaxy. Titanfall drifting. Near the Zarkan ruins, obsidian rain above a quiet council station. Ghost wings moving like shadows through dead systems. We do not seek to rule. We do not want your planets. We don't need your permission to exist. But if you raise a hand to Earth again, know that we will not raise a hand. We will raise something far greater. Respect is earned, not demanded. And Earth has earned it. The voice fell silent. The stars faded. And then the final message appeared across the galaxy, in every known language. This was us holding back, not no longer. The transmission ended, and in that moment, the galaxy felt smaller. Because now they truly saw Earth, not as a young species, not as weak diplomats, but as something far older. In spirit, something patient, dangerous, and awake. Zarkan colonies, once proud and loud, now flew Earth's peace beacon. Not because they were conquered, but because they chose survival over pride. Other races followed, not with fear, but with respect. Earth hadn't taken anything by force. But it had made it clear it could have on Titanfall. The crew watched the stars in silence. Captain Wren looked at the final message again. He didn't smile, didn't speak. He simply turned to his officers and said, "Let's go home." And with that, the Titans began their slow return, not to Earth's orbit, but to their hidden cradles, deep in asteroids and shadows, back into silence, because Earth didn't need to stay visible. Its presence had been written into memory now, burned into the history of every species on Earth. Children looked up at the sky. Their parents no longer warned them of alien threats. Now they spoke of balance, of strength, of the time when Earth roared so loud it shook the stars, and then whispered again. In one small village on a desert planet, a young alien asked his grandmother, "Are the humans still angry?" She smiled gently and answered, "No, child. They never were, because that was the truth. Earth had not acted out of rage, but out of resolve, not to destroy, but to remind. And the galaxy would never forget that reminder. In the end, Earth didn't become a conqueror. It became something greater, a guardian of balance, a keeper of warning. The one power the galaxy would never mock again. And as the stars turned quietly above, one truth echoed in the silence. Earth was patient, Earth was powerful, Earth was done holding back.